Hi Beatle people, welcome back to A Beatleful Life. So in today's video I'm going to show you some more of my Beatles books and magazines. On the subject of books, Paul McCartney's children's book, Hey Granddude, comes out 1 week today. I am going to be doing a video on that because I pre-ordered one. So hopefully that comes next week. I'm also going to be doing a video next week on 1 year of Egypt Station because that's next Saturday. So there could be 2 videos next week, we'll see, but let's jump into today's video. So I'm going to start with this Parade magazine. This is a newspaper insert, and this is a recent interview that they did with Ringo in July for his birthday. You could read this online on their website. I think it's just parade.com, but if you Google Parade magazine, you'll find it. So in this interview, he talks a lot about touring, how he's still touring at 79 and, turning 79 and his Peace and Love birthday celebration and how he came up with that, and a little bit about his health, sobriety, and him being a vegetarian as well. It also talks a little bit about the new Let It Be documentary that's coming out, with all the unreleased footage. And I'm gonna just read his answer here because he's asked what the true story is. Basically the question is, the movie is going to present a more positive image of the band than the original documentary. What's the true story? He says, I was never happy with the original film because it picked 1 second of life when John and Paul were in a row, and the whole documentary was built around that. There was also a lot of joy, a lot of laughter, and a lot of interaction. Whatever our attitudes were at the time, we gave our all, and that was beautiful. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. He's asked, why is he still touring if he doesn't have to? Basically he says, you get uplifted. It's like getting high in a clean way. Everyone in the audience knows that I love them and I know they love me. So this is nice to read because as you know, if you watch this channel regularly, I just saw Ringo on the 16th of this month. You can check that video out. It's my most recent video. I have a lot of concert footage in there. So this is a pretty brief interview, but you could check it out online if you want. And we're going to move on to the next book, which is this one here. This is a book that is simply titled The Beatles. It's by Mike Clifford. And this book is from 1991. I actually found it in our basement pretty recently. I didn't know we even had it. I, of course, was not born in 1991, so I'm not the one who purchased this. But I'm going to take this jacket off just so it's a little less fumbly. Okay, so this is kind of sort of a coffee table book, but at the same time it has a lot of historical content in it. It's like a, just your standard book about the history of the Beatles with some cool pictures. Like, check this one out, for instance. So I'm just going to highlight a few sections here. It's pretty standard stuff for the most part. It starts right at the beginning, pre-1962, and then it goes all the way to their post-Beatles careers. If I see any particular pictures I like, I'll show those as well. Then, as I said, it gets into their post-Beatles careers. Talks a little bit about Brian Epstein, Pete Best, etc., and then has, of course, a section on their albums. Oops. You can tell this book is from 1991 because they're talking about the CD player as being a new format of listening to music. and how, you know, with the music being on CD, at that point it was beginning to introduce them to a new generation. Here's a section on their singles and where each one placed in the charts. Try to zoom in a little. But that essentially sums up that book. Again, it's pretty standard stuff as far as the history of the Beatles. Oh. So we're going to move on to the next one. I thought this would be a nice tie-in because I just showed something from the 90s. I thought I'd show this. This is a tour program from Paul McCartney's New World Tour. This is from when my parents saw him. Obviously, I was not born at that time. So it has some nice artwork in here, so I'm going to show some of that. Or photography, I suppose you would call that instead. Graphic design. So another actually tie-in to something else I just showed is that in Paul's band at this time, Hamish Stewart was in his band, and he is currently in Ringo's band lineup. I just saw him with Ringo again on the 16th. And this tour program is, of course, promoting the Off the Ground album, which is the album he was, I guess you could say, touring for at that time. There's a section about Linda as well, promoting one of her cookbooks right here. So very similarly to the layout of his other tour programs, there's an interview with Paul, an interview with the band, some stuff about the Off the Ground album, some stuff about vegetarianism, the environment, things like that. Talking about the Unplugged special. This is funny, this quote here. And then there's also a section, this is something I don't think is in the other programs, at least not the ones that I have, some biographies / interviews of some of the members of his crew. Basically lighting design, stage design, things like that. People responsible for that, which of course are important people. Just show this one last page here. Alright, Beatle people, that is all that I have to show you for today's video. So I want to say thank you very much for watching, and be sure to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more things like this. And be on the lookout next week for potentially 2 new videos, but at least one guaranteed video is going to be the one on 1 year of Egypt Station. I'm really excited for that. I'm going to do kind of my top 5 Egypt Station songs, plus showing all of my Egypt Station collection that I've amassed since the album came out. So I'm also going to leave the links to my social media and blog in the description, so you can check those out if you want. And as always, have a beautiful day, everybody. Bye-bye.